Today's Tuesday, December 17th, 3 a.m. It's amazing to me that how little I know. It's amazing to me how little I know. It this trading is making me think about is making me think about all the things that I've done in my career. And really there isn't anybody really out there who's really telling me exactly what trading is, essentially. So essentially, there is essentially no one out there in this whole world who's telling me what exactly day trading is. Okay, nobody's telling me that. No one. So so I'm like seeking to see essentially. So I figured out the rules. I figured out the rules for prop firms. I figured out how the prop firms work. And then, but I'm still losing. I'm still losing because I'm taking trades that are that are that are not really that haven't been verified for me, for myself. I haven't personally verified each of these setups, but I'm still taking it, and then I'm like paying for it because there is something called a risk management. So there is this concept called risk management, and obviously it has a tremendous impact on the trade. It's risk. What kind of risks are there? What kind of risk is there when certain events are communicated? What risk is there? And for my life, I haven't really incorporated that kind of risk kind of thing into my life. Such as if I uh, if I if I speed through an alley, okay, above the speed limit, I'm asking myself, what is the risk? What is the risk of me getting a ticket? So these are the things, because it seems like in certain ways I just follow the rules in most of the cases, but I never I so therefore I didn't think about the consequences and the risk that are involved in doing something that is outside of specific rules that are out there. And what happens is that when trading for a 10K lot, 8 lots of trading is a lot. And in an instant, just like that, the account will be breached. If on a single candle, if I have 8 lots in, a single candle can breach the account. And yet, sometimes what I would do is I would use 8 lots, but that will cause the account to be breached. So today, I just breached one of the accounts, which I was actually up 200, actually 187, $185 on the account. And then I started to keep trading. And then ultimately, the last trade just moved right against me and then just took out the challenge. So there is this thing called a risk. And 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 it just reminds me of all the things that I've done, many of the things that I've done in my past that are just now coming to me. I suppose it's like Ebenezer Scrooge, okay? And so he meets these three ghosts, and One of them is the Christmas past. Okay, so he's reliving his past to figure out, to see for himself what's happening. And then there's the Christmas present, and then Christmas future, right? And so he's looking at the past to see what he has done that are that can be analyzed to see whether he did it right or not. And so now that I've lost 300 Profam challenges, but I haven't quickly thought about why I lost the 300 Profam challenges. I haven't really thought about that yet. I really haven't really thought about that yet, right? So now, in day trading, risk is very, very important. Risk is very, very important. Now, how do I risk the maximum amount and risk the minimum amount? So how do I risk the maximum amount to get the gains, but risk the minimum amount to be to fall within the umbrella of the risk? Okay, and so when I make a trade, and I'm attempting to make as many trades as possible within the day, and within the day, if I'm looking at a 5-minute candle, there's a certain amount of structures that I can trade within that day. Okay, and if I miss, if there's like 30 opportunities to make a trade, then if I miss one or two, then I'll have 28 and then 26, 25 within the day. So there's that part of it. The second part is, now when I'm making a trade, and I'm making a trade on the fly, I have to calculate, okay, so what am I willing to risk in order to get what I want? And so today I made this comment to myself. I said, okay, I said to myself, okay, so I'm at 185 and I'm just going to make 10 bucks. Okay, I'm just going to make 10 bucks. So I used a half a lot, but I was preoccupied with something else. And then when I look back on it, I'm seeing this half a lot that just started to run amok. And then all of a sudden I realized, hey, it took $56, which is essentially, with a 10K account, is like a 0.5%. That's a tremendous amount of move. And I look back on it, I said, okay, so I should have put a stop loss right there. Right there. I should have put a stop loss right there so they would have stopped. Even if it was like 20 bucks, I would have gotten out of there instead of allowing it to run to its full course. So there's this thing called risk management, okay? Risk management. And so there is this independent thing that is incredibly important. And for people who are not a good trader, then the risk management should be essentially, the risks should be minimal. It should be zero, close to zero. And when the experience increases, that means that statistically speaking, I have an edge. And when that edge is used, then when I make 10 trades, I have a chance of making 7 out of 10 trades that are good. That means that I can take a greater risk, okay, for each trade. That because I'm able to recoup with those 7 wins to cover the 3 losses. And so if the risk is 1%, then I can go for 2%. And that means that I'll have 14% minus 3%, which is 11%, essentially. That's how I need to look at it, but I haven't really looked at it in that way. And I keep losing, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm sitting here at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm not qualified to do anything outside of this world now. I'm legally bound to essentially, I'm legally not allowed to work in a corporate environment. But I'm 55 years old, and I have I have at least 15 years I need to be productive. And currently, as it stands right now, if the Christmas present is here, the Christmas present spirit is here. I'm looking at this current situation, which is essentially I'm I'm dripping morphine, barely making by, and my car is about to break down. This pair of glasses is 8 years old. It's plastic, so it's hazy. And this computer is 8 years old, and it's on its last leg. And this cell phone is several years old. And I'm thinking to myself, that's the current situation. There's nobody out there. I'm in a vacuum, totally isolated. Okay, and the future looked incredibly bleak. And I just lost 2 challenges this week. It's only second day today. Today's the second day. Today is essentially the second day of Sunday, Monday. Okay, so today is the second day of the trading week, and 3 more days, and a whole week is going to go by, and I haven't made any progress. No progress. Even though I'm trying to still understand it. This thing here. So the fact that I am working on this alone. Okay, even though I'm studying Al Brooks. Al Brooks has quite a few things in there, so everything is important based on that. So there isn't essentially a specific guideline that says, okay, focus on this. This is what you're going to get. This is your next step. This is your next step. And once you pass this step, you look around, you should already be consistently profitable. So I'm looking at this situation. And just so what I'm determining right now is something called risk. Okay, and in a prop firm, there's a person who is a risk manager who communicates information to the traders after certain specific instances occur, like gaining a big win or something, right? Or after a big loss. And after a big loss, there's a psychological event that occurs, which is essentially which causes the mind to get into a tilt. Okay, that happens to me all the time. It happens to me all the time. Okay. So I'm just like now trying to figure out this thing called risk, because I just blew an account because I was up $200, and it took me several days to get $200. It took me 4 days to make $200, and then within a matter of a few hours, I just blew it. I just blew it. So now I'm just so what I have to do, this is a psychological, this is like a psychological battle. It really is. There are certain things that I need to do, but I just don't have it. There are things that I need to do here, but there's really nothing for me to like grasp onto and say, okay, this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm gonna do. Okay? So I need to make a choice. I have to today is the first day that I need to see. It's $70 is a lot now. Because what I did was I made it so that every dollar counts. So when I work as a dishwasher, the money that I make now is accounted for everything else. And I cannot splurge on whatever the money I have on prop firm challenges now. Each one of these prop firm challenges it may take a month for me to do, to acquire and then purchase. But I'm like blowing it away like today. I said to myself, look, hey, okay, so it's at $9,850, okay? So I'm down 350. So I need to stop. But I said that I said it in my mind, but I haven't stopped it. That's the problem. So this journey is a this journey is like trying to put everything together, squash it together to form this thing, but it hasn't really been formed yet. It's like making a diamond. It's like pressure and heat to create it, just create it into solid structures. That solid structure hasn't been found yet. And I'm concerned that if I slow down, it's going to take several years to figure this thing out. And then I'm saying to myself, okay, so 2 years have passed. You spent over $20,000 and you haven't made any progress at all. On on the record, you think to yourself, okay, you learned all this stuff because that's progress, right? That's what I'm saying to myself. Look, I learned all this stuff, but there's no evidence. There is no evidence of my progress. That's the problem. So in order for me to progress further now, in order for me to progress, I had to work on a couple of things. One of the things that I need to work on is risk management. Risk. What does risk mean? What does that mean? And when I see certain psychological behaviors, I have to have a rule for me to follow. Okay, so I have to have a certain rule that says, okay, so I have to have a certain psychological rule. So I have to have a mental rule. Such as like after a loss. Okay, after a loss, I have to say, okay, so if I lose this, I say, hey, I need to take a step back. Okay, that's one. Two is I need to make sure that I have my setups right. I have to make sure these setups are set up right, okay? So when I make these trades, I have to make sure these setups are correct. Okay, so when I take these trades, I have to look at it. And so I have to look at pitfalls and setups, what to expect. Okay, what are the pitfalls? Okay, pitfalls. What are the pitfalls? So when I look at the pitfalls, while it's like ranging, when I see this green candle, big green candle, that's a sign that it's going to reverse. So I better be careful. When I take that, I'm gonna lose. If I go long on that, I'm gonna lose. Okay, that's the third one. So now I really need to stop trading. I really need to stop trading because I just blew $140. That's $140 of money that I don't have. In order to make $140, I have to work 2 days washing dishes. 2 days. And in 1 month, I only have 8 days now. Only 8 long days. The other days are just short few hours of work on each day to fill up the cushion it. So I briefly thought, boy, I'm 55 years old. Okay, I'm 55 years old. Even if I worked every night and hard as I can, there's no way that I'm going to be able to keep up with these guys who are already employed. They have experience. It's like working for a company for a year, getting fired, and go to another company for a year and year. Sure, 10 years may have gone, but the experience level is minuscule because I'm just repeating the introductory stuff. It's, instead of being able to get into a deeper understanding of whatever the discipline it is. So, I really need to detach myself from trading right now. Okay, I have to really detach myself and then really, uh, really incorporate uh, the things that I know so that I can apply it to here. If I don't do that, then I'm going to be repeating this stuff over and over again. And I'm going to fail over and over again. And then 2 years from now, it's going to be the same thing, except that I'll be 57 years old, and then I will have worked at a restaurant for now it will be 6 years. 4 years have passed. 4 years have passed without making any progress. That's it needs to stop now. It needs to stop. This insanity needs to stop now.